We're going to shake it up and get a little bit controversial today. I'm going to answer a question that might ruffle a few feathers. Hi, I'm Christy. I'm a wife, a mom of 8, a homeschooling veteran of 24 years, going into my 25th year, and welcome to my channel, 10 at the Table. We cover all things parenting, motherhood, education, and any questions that might come up. So today's question is about how to get your newborn to sleep through the night. And I've had this question actually quite a few times. And my answer every time is put your baby to sleep on their tummy. It's that easy. We have been brainwashed since the early 1990s that the whole back to sleep, the campaign was called Back to Sleep. And it was an effort to get parents to only put their babies to sleep on their back, because we had a rising epidemic of SIDS in the United States, which is sudden infant death syndrome. And the powers that be, the brainiacs behind the whole situation, decided that it was caused from babies getting too warm, sleeping on their tummies, and suffocating, or not being able to move their heads, or a number of things that they contributed or attributed to this rising number of SIDS. So they started a campaign called Back to Sleep, and everyone who had a baby starting in the early 1990s was encouraged to put your babies on their back to sleep, which then created an entire new problem of flat-headed babies that had to be fitted for helmets. My opinion on this is that in about 1990, the vaccine schedule changed. A number of new vaccines and new combinations of vaccines were brought into the vaccine schedule. And within about 3 to 5 years, we started seeing all of this new data on SIDS. So instead of looking at what was causing this, we decided that we were going to put a Band-Aid on it and say everybody needed to put their babies on their backs. So then we have a new problem with babies can't sleep on their backs. They don't do well sleeping on their backs. So then we're doing other things like swaddling and new things that supposedly were supposed to keep this problem or lower the rate of this problem of SIDS from happening. If you've ever held a baby, if you've ever had a newborn, if you've ever babysat, if you've ever been around newborns or infants for a very long period of time, you know that when they sleep the best is when they're sleeping on their tummy on you. When you put them down on their back, all of a sudden their startle reflexes are in play. They don't get warm, or they don't stay warm because and we were also encouraged to not have anything, no blankets, no stuffed animals, which I'm not gonna address that, because obviously if you have a brain in your head, you can realize that putting too much stuff around a newborn who can't lift their head, can't change positions, you limit the amount of airflow around them. Yes, that's going to cause a problem. I'm not disputing that at all. What I'm saying is that we have been brainwashed into thinking that putting our babies on their tummies to sleep is the cause of sudden infant death syndrome, which wasn't a problem until the late 80s, early 90s, when the vaccine schedule changed, and we started pumping babies through of Haemophilus influenza B, hepatitis B shots, the combinations of DTaP, polio, acellular polio, and the list goes on. So the vaccine schedule changed. All of a sudden, we're pumping our babies, our newborn babies, days, sometimes hours old, full of toxins, and then we have a rise in SIDS, and we're blaming it on babies sleeping on their tummies. I call BS on it. If you're worried about your baby and SIDS, there has been a sleeping, I don't know what it's called, a ball or a, like, it's a contraption that you put your baby in. It's curved. You strap your baby in on their tummy so that and it helps with reflux and a number of other things, but it allows a baby to sleep on their tummy but be a little more upright, so that if you're concerned about that, or if they have reflux or some other things, that will help with that. So to answer the question, how do I get my newborn to sleep through the night or sleep longer hours at a time? My answer is 100% of the time always going to be figure out a way to get that baby to sleep on their tummy. You will be amazed. And I won't go into the vaccine conversation right now, but do your research. Ask for the inserts. Look at how many vaccines that they're giving to your newborn child have been tested, have gone through clinical trials, and what are the black box warnings on those inserts in the vaccine, the box that the vaccine comes in. So I'm probably going to get some backlash for this, but I don't give two craps. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.